Hello, me again. I'm still Éric Brehault. I forgot to mention on my first talk that I work at Nuclear at the moment, and I used to be a Plone contributor, not contributing much code anymore, but still in charge of a few things in the community, and always love to spend time with the community anyway. So this talk is about Plone versus content stacks. So what I want to do here is an honest and unbiased comparison between Plone and ContentStack. But full disclosure, I really love Plone and I could not say the same about ContentStack. All right, let's start. So what is ContentStack? Maybe you never heard of that. That's a CMS, but not a CMS like WordPress, for example. It's a headless CMS, okay? And it's not open source at all. It's a commercial product, and you pay about $500 a month to use it. It's hosted, so you just use their machine, and you can manage your content through it. When I say $500 per month, I haven't checked recently because that's something I'm not using anymore. I've been using that in my previous company. But yeah, it's about that. And it also depends on how many users you have, the volume of content and so on. But yeah, just to give you an idea, that's this amount of money. So for this price, I expect obviously top quality, great features. I mean, fantastic user experience. So let's see how it compares to Plone, which starts at not sure. Yeah, it's Plone starts at $0 a month. Okay, so probably a cheap solution, right? Anyway, so that's how you can create a content type with ContentStack. So that's well, let's say simple. It's very you start that. I mean, you don't really need to read the documentation about it. It's very self-obvious. The UX is pretty good, and you can see that there is a lot of field types. So you can just assemble that and create your own content types, and you can create as many as you want. So that, let's say, it's kind of decent, right? Well, then when you use your content type to create content, it comes like this. So each of the fields is in its own panel, and you can just edit it with a corresponding UI. So you have a rich text editor, you can upload files and so on. So, okay, so let's say it works, right? Nothing fancy, but yeah, good enough. And then, well, you have this kind of Django admin-like UI to list all your contents. So yeah, probably not the best UX approach to manage a website. Anyway, yeah, it works, but it's a bit disappointing when you come from Plone, where you can navigate the actual website and go to any page and change it, basically. That's not the same kind of experience here. And well, the thing is, it's an headless CMS, meaning that you do not have anything displayed, I mean, already visible for your visitors, for your users. All you get is the UI I just show and endpoints to get the content as chosen, right? So then you have to implement the website yourself, right? So you have a REST API, which allow you to get all the entries, one entry specifically, or load the assets like images or stuff like this. And from there, you will build your entire website. You just take whatever technology you want, let's say React or Next.js or anything actually, and you build your website, okay? And they offer several SDKs to just avoid doing the HTTP calls by yourself. You have a React package, you have a Java package, you have stuff like this, which allow you to start faster, let's say. Good. Well, good, no, not good. Actually, when you start using it, initially you say, okay, I can work with that, and then you get into troubles. The missing features are incredible. Typically, you are editing a content, a rich text content, and you want to create a link from another page of the same website. You don't have that. Why? Because basically the headless CMS is not aware of your domain or whatever navigation going to be implemented, because all of that is done manually, right? So you cannot guess what's going to be the final URL of a given page. All you have is IDs of the contents, and there is no way to map that with your routing strategy. So you just basically copy paste what is expected to be the final link, right? Totally not good for the contributors, for the editor. You don't have anything for navigation. All right. So if you expect to create a structure and call an endpoint to have something that would be a menu, would be a navigation, well, no. Same thing for, I don't know, footer links or whatever you might need to populate your page. You don't have it. Breadcrumbs, nothing. No breadcrumbs. So like the only thing you get is well, the title and the body text. Let's say it clearly. That's ridiculous. That means that your entire website gonna outcode all of that, kind of. Or maybe you will implement on the front end some kind of trick to, let's say, guess what is the expected breadcrumb, and it might be broken whenever the contributor is going to create a content in a place which is not expected. And yeah, definite disaster. You don't have WYSIWYG interface. So yeah, as you saw, the user is editing a form and have no idea what's going to be the final layout, right? You cannot preview what you are currently editing, which is, I mean, totally not acceptable. In many use cases, you want to see how it looks like. You want to see if the two images you put next to next fit in the page. You want to see all of that, and you want to see it for different size of navigator and so on. Well, no way. You are just editing the pure content. It's totally disconnected from the final rendering. And kind of surprising, you cannot search. Like you're going to create a full website and there is no way to search something, either on the user aspect, like you want to offer a search box, a search input somewhere to find something, either for the developer, like if you are implementing, let's say, a page on your website where you want to see the latest comment from something, the latest news or what. No, you don't have this. You just get an actual content that you know in advance, right? It's absolutely terrible. And I stop here because I mean it's infinite. They are totally missing what should be an actual CMS. It's not covering even the basic needs. Let's say kind of clearly for anyone who has been using Drupal or Plone or yeah, even WordPress, which is kind of simpler CMS, like Plone and Drupal are enterprise level CMS. It's way much featureful compared to something like ContentStack, right? So that's yeah. To me, when they say headless CMS, they figure out, okay, we are implementing an API, so we don't need any UI. It's not true. If you just have an API for something which is not purely technical, well, it's not usable. Your content editors, they need an actual UI, and this UI need to make sense. The real meaning of headless CMS, the way that Plone is seeing it, or Drupal, is that we decouple front end and back end. It does not mean that we just have a backend, because if you just have a backend, you do nothing, right? And that's the real thing. Headless CMS, like ContentStack, there are others. There is also Contentful, for example. There's stuff like this. Well, they save a lot of effort and pain by not dealing with the UI. Yeah, of course. It's kind of simple to go with a Django admin like thing and allow to create content types and then use the forms and store data. Okay, that's CRUD, right? That's simple. And if you are able to sell it, well, That's good for you, but it's not a CMS. The question is why people would pay for ContentStack? Because that's if you compare to Plone, I mean, Plone is much better, and I haven't seen so much people rushing on Plone and saying, "Oh, we need this. It's just perfect, and we're going to drop ContentStack and just use Plone." So that's weird, no? And well, my personal opinion about that is, well, first, they have salesperson, okay? They host the system for you. They provide support. They provide pre-sales advices, etc. So it's they can get clients, they can get leads because of that. Yeah, Plone, nobody gonna host Plone for you. If you're a company, you will have to find, well, a small company, like we are all small company in Plone, right? We cannot offer a worldwide service to host Plone, right? We are not doing that. I mean, we could have, but yeah, this is not there, right? And ContentStack has that. You can be anywhere in the world and go to ContentStack, go to their UI, and you just pay, enter your credit card, and it's done. You can start storing content. So that's one big difference. The other thing is, well, I would say that ContentStack is doing great because it's not WordPress. WordPress, as you might know, is the most used CMS in the world since a long time. And I think a lot of front-end developers are a bit allergic to WordPress. It's not easy to develop a modern website with WordPress, let's say. You will get into trouble if you just want to use React and render WordPress. I mean, it's not how you do that, right? And for a lot of front-end developer, if they can get rid of WordPress and just have something simple providing JSON from an endpoint, it's just fine, right? So that's also a very important aspect of why ContentStack is successful. It's not WordPress. And well, maybe it's a mistake to consider, okay, I'm a front-end developer. I just want to focus on the website. I need to integrate. The designer provided me with a nice design. I will implement it. And then the content will come from somewhere. I don't want to deal with how difficult or not difficult it is to create this content. We pay ContentStack. It's supposed to be good. The contributor is going to go on their online interface, and I don't hear about anything. I just get content from the endpoint, right? That's the approach. It's definitely not a good approach, but that's the real thing. And yeah, finally, I would also think that compared to something like Plone plus Volto, for example. So you're a front developer, you're good at React, and you want to start creating a website with Volto. Well, you will have to learn a lot. Whereas with something like ContentStack, you don't have to learn anything. You just do the website you want with basic React. You just take Next.js. You can take the theme you want. I mean, there is plenty of resources out there to start implementing something with Next.js, for example. And well, it's easy to start with that. You don't need to learn anything. Whereas with Plone and Volto, you will have to learn about Volto, learn about Plone, learn about a lot of things, how it works, what are the concepts. And those concepts are super important. As I was mentioning, something like, I don't know, breadcrumbs, workflows, translation, internal links, all of that is key for a great CMS, but it's also painful to learn. And that's a barrier. And with something like ContentStack, they just don't care. They say, okay, you create content. But what about the complex features that are expected from a CMS? They're not there. And it's fine for the developer. The victim going to be the contributors, because they are in a very bad situation. They cannot really create stuff. Cannot really own their website. They cannot control how it goes. It's super painful to update. That's where it does not work. But probably then they were not the one who have been asked about what's the best strategy to go with for their website. And I guess if that were them, they would have said, yeah, WordPress. I love WordPress. That's easy for contributors. But yeah. So yeah, I guess that's the reason why people use it, but I would not recommend it anyway. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and I think I'm done.